Jogging your memory. Okay. Or from your talk, or from your small groups. Okay, so bunch of things. Y'all kind of started to wig-wag, so I don't know who stepped forward. All right.
Just a little quote that stuck out with me through the week is, we talked kind of a little bit in small group about creation, and the God that created the world won't abandon it, and that's just something that has stood out to me throughout the week.
The one thing that I can probably take away from camp more than anything this year, never, I repeat, never get on a golf cart with Christian. Ever. No, never, ever. We really did have a good time, but surely there's a video somewhere.
No more mic for you. Okay, next. Give me one more, something that you learned from your talk, from your lesson, right? Remember you talked about walking on water. I've seen some shuffle. Is that a full Brad? You want it? All right, Brad.
This is in our big group. Like the middle schools have one, and a high school one had one. So the preacher talked about Simon Peter and him walking on the water towards Jesus, and I thought that was neat that he didn't hesitate to go to him, and then he started walking on water, and he hesitated because he didn't focus on Jesus. He focused on what was going on around him.
Very, very good. All right, next question. Two more. So if you haven't answered one, you got two more shots, right? Who was your small group leader? So you might have to think, can you remember his name or her name? Who was your small group leader? And what was one thing they talked about during your small group or taught you during the week? Or did they give you their testimony? Did they talk about their life? Did they talk about where they're at in their life? Most of their small group leaders, if not majority, they have to be a graduated senior, but most of them are already in college, right? And the BCM, so that's kind of a plug for the BCM. The BCMs in our area are a huge breeding ground for sending staffers up to camp. So think of the Martin Murray State is a huge proponent of sending staffers. Some from Middle Tennessee, right? Send some from their BCM, right? So all over. But these are all majority college students, and we'll talk about this a little later, who have given up their summer to come and pour their lives into our students, right? Who was your small group leader? And what was one thing they talked about? Testimony, anything like that?
My small group leader was Cade, and he talked about how when he was younger, he grew up in church and he was saved at a young age, but he had never knew what it meant. And then later in his life, when he was out of high school, he would, was it him that would sit in the church parking lot? Okay, never mind. But he would, then he began to learn about Christ, and he was better with it, and just overall.
Good.
Our small group leader was David, and he talked about how he wouldn't be here because he never believed in Christ until he got hurt playing sports, and then he wouldn't in that church if it didn't happen.
Very good.
Our small group leader was Lauren, and she was telling us about her testimony. She was saved when she was like 8, and so she grew up in church, but throughout middle school and high school, she kind of strayed away from Christ because of like all the peer pressure and like all of her friends doing bad things, and she was always known as like goody two-shoe Lauren, and like the girl who never does anything fun because she's just, like a child of Christ. So she went through this really like long and hard phase where she was really lonely and depressed because nobody ever wanted to do anything with her because they didn't think she was fun. But she learned as she got older, like her popularity doesn't matter. It just, her relationship with Christ matters more. And she finally got over the fact that she was really lonely, but she was lonely with Christ. So she like focused on that more than not having a bunch of, like a big group of friends.
Really, really good stuff. So like I said, they had time with their small group leader, kind of the one that kind of walked with them through a lot of the week, taught them, kind of talked about the Bible studies they learned in the morning. And as you can tell, they make a huge impact in students' lives, even in a couple days, right? And telling their testimonies, telling them how they got there, talking about what Christ has done in their life, right? And sharing that with even our students, right? So we really, really, really appreciate their work that they do there. Last question. Would you recommend going to Crossings Camp to your friends, and why?
I would recommend Crossings because you get to spend time with your church family and learn about them, as well as get to do many different activities and get to spend time with people that you get to talk to that understand what you're going through.
Good. Who else? Would you recommend it to your friends, and why?
Definitely. It's a good experience, especially like for our church group to grow even closer together and experience those exciting moments as the ropes course that kind of bonds you together, or zip lining, or any of those POIs, while still having that small group time at the end of the night for some really just emotional devotions. And thank you to our leaders for bringing us, and thank you to the church for sending us. And we appreciate it so much every year that y'all send us. And hopefully next year we'll have some more people up on here giving you your church camp report.
I guess we'll end our question time on that. Great job, y'all. Thank you for talking about camp. Thank you for sharing. I know that your church, which I don't know if you know this or not, but through your church's giving, you have a major discount, each and every one of you, to even go. So they are a big sending proponent for you even to getting to go. So that's right. Thank you for sending them. You literally were a part of sending them. And I can't tell you how many people came up to me asking me, hey, is there anybody that needs any help going to camp? We will gladly financially help them to go, right? And we really, really, really appreciate any time that happens. Great job, y'all. Go on and sit back down. We'll have some more things to talk about. Another video in the end. But I'm going to jump over to the next slide. Do you want me to try the clicker? There's a good picture. So that's the rec lake. As you can see, if you squint your eyes and look really hard, they got some awesome slides, now that I realize, some trampolines in the back that we had an accident on, but it was okay. That kind of led to the golf cart. Someone ran, if you can see, there's a little bridge in between those two trampolines, and it's really hard to run across because it's really slick, and someone ran across and didn't fully make it, right, and fell in the water and hurt their knee, but they were okay. But we were able to get a golf cart for free, and I was the one that got to drive, right? And we had some fun times on it. I got to race the camp pastor. That was pretty fun on a golf cart. All right, going into the next slide. An aspect of Crossings Camp is they do a program called the LEAD program. Now, this is relatively new, but essentially what it is, and I'm actually going to read a portion of it to you kind of off their website what it is they take a couple students, high school students that go to camp, and they ask them, whenever they sign up for their POIs, if they would be willing to give up some of the time that they have during those POIs. So give up zip lining, give up ropes course, right? To do a special LEAD program to talk about and go through and kind of break down what does it mean to be a leader, especially inside the local church. Okay, so I'm going to read to you a little more about it here in a second, but the awesome thing is this year we had 2 students that went through this program, that gave up some time, went through the program, right, got to spend some one-on-one time, personal time with the staffers, with the college staffers. Now, they had to be either graduating seniors or going into senior year, right? So that's a requirement. But kind of an aspect of this LEAD program which I don't know if you fully know this as students, but this is kind of their recruiting tool to kind of see who do we see amongst your students would really be an awesome staffer here at Crossings, right? Because what they do is they also take them and they kind of put them to work. And they kind of say, hey, this is what it looks like to come and be a staffer at camp. So I know both of our girls worked in the shack, which the shack is where they got the snacks. And if you're there, you have to hit the shack at the right time or you're going to be in line for a solid 20 to 30 minutes because it's so long. And it is chaotic inside of the shack because they're trying to do slushies, smoothies, snacks, nachos, right? So they got a taste of what it's like to be in there. They also got a taste of what it's like to be in the kitchen area, prepare the food, break down the food, clean up, so many different aspects, right? Being a staffer is not an easy job, and it's not for the faint of heart. And so they kind of take these students who we, if you don't know this as well, we kind of say, hey, here's some students that I think would be good for the program. And they say, okay, you say they're good, they want to do it, we think they'll be good, sign up. Okay, so I said there were 825 students. Now there were 2 from our group, but there were 9 out of 825 that were selected to be a part of LEAD, right? And 2 of ours did it, right? So that's pretty good, right? So here is what, next slide, here is what on their website, what it looks like to be a part of the LEAD program. And you can go on, I'll read it for you. This is off their Crossings website. LEAD is a program specifically designed for upcoming and recently graduated seniors who are leaders within your youth group. It is a specialized track at student camp that is meant to take those students who are already leaders within the church and allow them a chance to be uniquely encouraged and invested in by our Crossings staff. So that is what LEAD is, training, but also kind of saying, hey, you are the leaders within your church, within your youth group. Go and lead your church well, right? So again, we had 2 that did it. 2 that did it. One was Miss Bella Bone. She is actually at another camp, so she wasn't able to be here, but she really wanted to do it. It wasn't even, I thought I was going to have to like pull her arm a little bit to do it, but she was really excited to send a video to us to talk about her experience at camp. So after that, after we get her video going, I'm going to ask Miss Keeley to come up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask her some questions to kind of probe her to talk about LEAD. Okay, so we will need sound on this. I don't know how loud it'll be, so you can kind of play with it here for a second, and we'll watch her. It's about 3 minutes long. She did a really good